It's like a workshop reunion in here this morning.
Good morning, Genesis.
Good morning, Genesis. Welcome to our Sunday service. Let's get it going. I'm a practitioner here at Genesis Center for Spiritual Living, and I am your facilitator this morning. Welcome all to the people that are here at Carco Theatre and everybody who is watching online, wherever you may be. So this morning, Cal is going to be your communication link for those of you that are watching online. So if this is your first time, especially make an effort, if you could, to reach out and say hi, how you found us, your name, and everybody else, the normal family, please reach out to Cal and say good morning. So Genesis is continuing its minister search. We have our profile and invitational video available for review on the CSL Minister Listserv. We are starting to receive resumes, and we'll have more information to share if they pass the interview process. In the meantime, let us all join in as we say our Sacred Covenant Easy Prayer. There is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to glorify God, I therefore know that my new minister is a revelation of God as love. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which has been promised by God, for it is written, I dwell in the house of love. Love attends me in my home of the soul. I shall never leave this home of the spirit. I shall abide in this home forevermore. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister before me as revealing the truth and power of love. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself. For I am powerfully expressing divine love, inspiring all to do the same. I am blessing and honoring all past paths of spirituality, awakening deeper truths and spiritual growth. I am a place where God shows up, expressing divine love, allowing truth and joy to heal all. I am embracing, teaching, and exploring spiritual truths from diverse spiritual teachings. I am teaching and embodying prosperity, trusting that God is the source of my good. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know that they will be revealed in a way that will glorify God and serve the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful. God is gracious. Amen. All right. So, is there anybody here in the Carco Theatre that is visiting maybe for a first time? So, feel free to shout out a name. No? We're all family? Super. And Cal, do we have any first-timers online? Nope. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started with our announcements. These announcements are just reminders of what is happening. For detailed information about the following events, please check out our website, our Facebook pages, Eventbrite, and Meetup pages. So first and foremost, pledge cards. We're in our pledge campaign this month, and if you haven't submitted pledge cards yet, you can still fill one out online at genesiscsl.org. Or if you're in the theater and haven't gotten one yet filled out, I'm sure you could see Cynthia, and they would be available when you enter. So every Wednesday at 7 p.m., please join Karen Williams, practitioner, and Cynthia Zink, practitioner, for intention circles via Zoom. Join us to create more miracles in our lives. And a love offering is appreciated. And Monday 11/21, Healers and Hunters men's groups will meet between 6:30 and 8:30. Come join Dave Pennick, practitioner, and Jim Munson for a Genesis men's group. If you are interested in joining in, please see Dave. I'm sure the information is available right up here online if you are at home watching and or on the theater, or Jim Munson. And if you do need to get that information, always feel free to ask Cynthia after service and we can get that to you at that time as well. So at the end of January, just a couple more months away, our lease at Carco Theatre is up. If you have any leads, contacts, or ideas for our new perfect worship fellowship space, please contact Kelly Gooden or Reverend Eric. And actually, it's please contact Gideon Kelly or Reverend Eric. Specific information, including contact phone number, would be appreciated. And if you would like to join a care circle, I'm sure if you've been around a bit, you've kind of heard the buzz of care circles, and you're not currently in one, please reach out to Karen Williams. You can contact her via Facebook or actually talk to her here at Carco Theatre. Care circles are a great way to connect on a little deeper level than you can do on a Sunday morning service. So this morning, our practitioner is Karen L. Williams. Karen led a meditation before service, and if you missed that, it will remain on Facebook for 30 days and is now on YouTube. You can watch the service live there as well. I highly recommend that you check out Karen's meditation. She does such a great job of grounding us and allowing Spirit to really move through us as we center into that silence of God. Karen will also be available after service if you would like a little bit of a prayer tune-up. I would like to take this opportunity as well to thank everybody for coming this morning and being present, whether you are at home or here. It is so great to gather and spend time with each other. And in that sense, why don't we all stand up as we sing our new song that was written by Reverend Eric, and it is Out Beyond.
Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. A field of love, a field of forgiveness, a peace that passes understanding. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. A field of love, a field of forgiveness, a peace that passes understanding. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. There's a field. I'll meet you there.
And now let us have Karen come on in. Good morning, family.
My reading today is from the 365 Science of Mind for today. And the title is Communion. Ernest quotes Psalms 1:2. His delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. There's always a silent communion going on between the individual soul and the invisible presence. This communion should become a conscious union of the self with the over-self, of the mind with the spirit, of the personal with the impersonal. As the artist communes with the essence of beauty and gives birth to form through this communion, so our minds should commune with the presence of God. This communion should arise from awareness of the divine presence. And follow along in his affirmation. Today, I commune with the Spirit. In nature, I see the Spirit manifest, and in everyone I meet, I shall commune with the living Christ, the divine presence in him, sensing imperfection, realizing its beauty, and being consciously aware of its love. Today, I hold silent communion with that invisible presence that peoples the world with the manifestation of its life, its light, and its love. He concludes with a quote from the Science of Mind, page 343. The greater consciousness of God, the more complete must be the realization of true self, the divine reality. And so we'll pray. And so I pray this morning from that connected space, from that communion, with the all that is, the all and the everything, the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown, the life as it lives, love as it moves, grace as it is revealed. I know this very presence, this life, this movement, this activity is what is the animating life of every human being. It is the essence of all life, conscious or unconscious. That love is the movement, the evolution of love. And so it is from there that I speak to gratitude and the power of gratitude in life. That gratitude is a co-creative power. That as I realize my blessings, whether they seem like blessings or not, as I acknowledge that all of life, all expression, all happenings, all circumstances are for my good, I can be grateful for everything that takes place, whether it makes me comfortable or uncomfortable. And so I am grateful for how life shows up, and that it does so in a unique way for all of us, and that we get to make a choice about what we do with what is happening around us and within us. And so in this moment, I choose the higher law of love. That no matter what conditions or circumstances I might be judging or experiencing with any sense of discomfort or dis-ease, I claim the law of love as being present there and present here. And in doing so, I bless myself and I bless all beings everywhere. And so I take a moment of gratitude for Genesis Center for Spiritual Living being a place where we can gather together and know our lives as individual lives of God and of good and of love. I give another expression of gratitude to Reverend Eric, who holds the container of Genesis while it awaits its new expression in its new place, in its new time. I give great gratitude that the answer was yes to the call. I'm grateful to each and every person who is here, including our band and our guest musician, for having said yes to life as it is right now. And so with this, I just allow my word to unfold, to be the continuing unfolding that is expressed as this celebration service. And so it is.
So it is.
Yes. So please help me welcome our guest musician this morning. It's Sarah Christine. Sometimes I can't follow a piece of paper. Her name is in big, bold letters here, and we are really happy to have with us today, Sarah Christine. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
So nice to be here with you again. It's been a while.
Breathe in the darkness, breathe in the light, breathe in the balance. It's all part of life. Breathe in the chaos, breathe in breathe in the beauty, the essence of your soul. Breathe within, breathe within, breathe within. Breathe now. Breathe within, breathe within, breathe within. Breathe now, breathe now. Breathe now. Breathe through the grief. Breathe through surrender to the sweet relief. Breathe through the unknown. Breathe through the mystery. Breathe through the infinite possibilities. Be with it, be with it, be with it all. Be now. Be with it. gratitude. Be with it, be with it, be with it. Feel the gratitude. Be now, now, be now.
Beautiful and very on point. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for being here. So it's November, and big surprise, our talk series this month is
Gratitude.
You guessed it, because Turkey Day is coming. We had a talk last Sunday about giving thanks to God. Today we're talking about everyday gratitude, and I have to start with this incredible quote from Melody Beattie. This is the end-all and be-all quote, and you probably heard it before, but a great quote you can hear again. She says, "Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Gratitude makes sense of the past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow." So that really says it all. That is what gratitude does for you. Grateful people are happy people. Grateful people are humble people. Grateful people are way more enjoyable people to be around and have around than people who are grumpy, irritable, complaining, bitter, cynical, rude naysayers. Can I get an amen? I mean, nobody, and I mean nobody, likes an ingrate. Nobody likes to feel taken for granted. If you're not grateful, you may be an ingrate. And the way to find out if you're an ingrate is to ask your friends and relatives. It's a good project for Thanksgiving month. Anne Lamott wrote a book called Help, Thanks, Wow, The 3 Essential Prayers. And in it she writes, well, let me just say, it's a great book. She's a very interesting writer. She wanted to be a novelist, a famous, like, Pulitzer Prize winning novelist, and it turns out that she's really a great writer about spirituality. She's written these wonderful books about spirituality. This one, Help, Thanks, Wow. She says these are the essential prayers. Help, so like, please, get me out of this mess. That's one prayer. Thanks is the prayer of gratitude, and wow is the prayer of appreciation and amazement. And she says, wonder takes our breath away and makes room for new breath. That's why they call it breathtaking. So people have asked me why I'm so cheerful. I think it's because I'm often in a state of wow. I really am often just really in a state of wow. I do not take the wonderful things in life, the wonderful things in my life for granted. And I'll give you an example. Almost every time I get in a car, I think about Johann Sebastian Bach. Now, I think about Johann Sebastian Bach because I love his music. But I also think about him because he sort of represents this figure of the past to me. And I imagine him riding around in a rickety horse-drawn carriage going over filthy, smelly, muddy streets or bumpy cobblestone streets with no heat and no air conditioning and no radio. And imagine him being magically transported into my car and showing him the dashboard that lets me know the temperature outside and the clock that lets me know the time of day and the speed that we're going, and the fact that we can go 60 miles an hour when he probably never went more than 12 miles an hour in his whole life. And there's the windshield wipers for the rain and the heated seats for his butt, and the heated rear view mirrors, and the images in the backup camera, which I really need because I'm actually a terrible driver, and I'm a terrible parker, and I need that rear view camera. I need to see what's behind me. And how he can set the climate control on his side of the car, and then the CD player and the radio. And I imagine him hearing magically this gorgeous music come from nowhere. Where's the band? Where's the orchestra? Where's the singers? And he can hear, we can hear all the greatest musicians of the last 100 years, this is 120 years that we've had recordings, of all the music that's ever been written that we know of, from all over the world in every musical style. And that's all at the touch of my fingertips. And I think about that almost every time I get in a car. I don't take all these incredible conveniences for granted, ever. I never forget how much freedom I have, because I can remember about 15 years of my life from ages 3 to 18 in my parents' house. And God love them and God bless them, but it was a really grim experience. It was a house of pain. And there's reasons why it was a house of pain. There's a lot of pain and a lot of anger. For me, it was 15 years of tension, anger, sadness, fear, loneliness, drunken rages, being ignored, being yelled at, stupid fighting over really stupid things. And my mantra was, keep your head down, keep your mouth shut, and one day you'll go away to college and your life will begin. So, as far as unhappiness, I've done my time. I did my time. And that's what happened. I feel like I did 15 years in a penitentiary. And of course, this is a total exaggeration because ours was a very middle-class lifestyle. But I'm not exaggerating that much. And I do know what it feels like to leave the house and take a deep breath and welcome the world and be in charge of my own life. And that is why today, people who need to and want to argue about petty shit, I don't have any time for, because I did 15 years of that. Today, at 3/4 retired, I get to do what I want when I want to do it. And I am so grateful, and I do not take that for granted. Fridays, a long time ago, when I was music director at City South Seattle, the minister Kathy Ann Lewis brought out the idea of a Sabbath, which is a brilliant spiritual practice. People think of the Sabbath, taking a Sabbath, as a day of rest. And it is, it should be a day of rest, but it's a deep spiritual practice. And Ken and I spend the day together for years. We've spent Fridays as our day off together. And it's our weekly Sabbath, and we've done it for most of our 26 years together. And we're just as happy going to the library and the post office and the car wash. I always say, we're going through the car wash, I'm like, I'm glad nobody's in the car with us, and see how ridiculously giddy we are going through the car wash. Those blue things go like this, and the big thing comes down, and we call it the Kraken, and we make noises, and it's like we're 6. And it's as much fun for us to go to the grocery store as it is to go dinner out or go to a movie. And if the music's good, we dance in the aisles at the grocery store. And the checkout clerks remember us because we're always having fun. And that's the little everyday things that make life totally great. You don't have to go to Tahiti. You don't have to win the lottery. You don't have to win the election. Go to the grocery store and have a great time. That's all it takes. Many times when we're in Fred Meyer, I think, how lucky are we? We have available to us every kind of fresh fruit and vegetable all year long from all over the world. Stuff, I don't even know what it is. Those pink dragon fruit things, there's stuff there, I don't even know what it is, and we have it. Let alone blueberries all year round, strawberries all year round, right? Flavors of every kind of cuisine. We eat better than kings and queens of old. Kings and queens of old do not eat as well as we do. Our refrigerator and freezer are stuffed to the gills. I do not take that for granted. We in the first world have never had it so good. I write gratitudes in my journal almost every morning. I'm grateful for the things I'm grateful for, and I'm grateful for the beautiful journals that I get to write in. I have big stacks of really beautiful journals. I'm really picky. And I have a container. I have discovered I like to use colored ink. So I have colored pens for my journal. I'm grateful to pick up the pen. What color will I use today? I'm grateful for all the quiet time in the morning I have for my journaling. I'm grateful for modern medicine. How many people here would not be alive today without modern medicine? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a third. A third of the people here. I'm grateful for the United Nations. That's a concept. I'm so grateful for the song Imagine. I'm so grateful for the consciousness that's in the song Imagine, that we would actually have the idea that it would be a possibility in consciousness, that we would have universal peace and prosperity. I'm grateful for Social Security and Medicare, which had to be fought for. There are a lot of people who didn't believe that we deserve to have those things. I'm grateful for airplanes. I'm grateful for reliable electricity. I'm grateful for central heating, indoor plumbing. I'm grateful for my husband, my friends, my family, people I don't know. I'm grateful there's people I don't know, because that means I get to meet new people.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for books, magazines, plays, movies, music. The last 2 nights, I went to 2 amazing concerts. On Friday, there was a concert on the history of the cello with all the, people may not know that I took up the cello, so I'm obsessed with the cello now, and there was a whole concert on the cello and the history of the cello, and they played these different cellos from different time periods, and it was incredible. Music, it was incredible. And we went early, and we got seats right in front row, and the first chair of the symphony, the first cello chair of the symphony was sitting 3 feet away from me. And I was like watching everything he's doing. I got to do that. And then last night, how many people saw the movie Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
Yeah.
Well, the guy who composed the music for that wrote a big oratorio on the life of the Buddha. And at Seattle Symphony, they had a concert. And a friend of mine had gone on Thursday, and she said, it's so incredible, you have to go with me. So we went last night. And it was amazing. It was amazing. It was incredible. And it was, again, to me, I'm constantly aware of how we are living the global village reality, because this music is grounded in Buddhism. This is a Chinese man. He wrote he's steeped in Chinese culture, Chinese music, Chinese folk music, and all of that was woven into with this Western choir and orchestra, and this fantastic, incredibly exciting piece of music on the life of the Buddha, based on 6 incidents in the life of the Buddha. And they had this thing down at the front, and they had a bowl of water, and this percussionist was doing things and making water sounds, and at one point picked up this thing that was a sieve, and it made it sound like water in a Zen garden. It was so great. It was so great. I'm sure living in the middle of North Dakota is great and full of natural beauty, but I love Seattle, and in spite of the challenges we face here in the Northwest, there are problems, home prices, homelessness, a struggling downtown. That city has been my home since 1979, and has been my field of dreams, and I am grateful. I don't take it for granted. Okay, here's the truth. I have a terrible, terrible prejudice. It's not even really a prejudice. Limitation is really how I would describe it. Because when we drive and we're out there in the boonies, and I see these houses in the middle of nowhere, and I just think, how do they live there? I'm so urban. And I'm so grateful that I get to live in an urban place and they get to live in a rural place. Because I know that people who love the rural environment are really happy there, and more power to them. Because I have learned that people are different than me. And that's good.
Yes.
So I am grateful. I am grateful. This week was a busy week because we had this fabulous workshop here yesterday. Thanks to everyone who came, and we raised over $1,100 for Genesis through this workshop. So, and it was a great workshop. It was really fun. But I had work to do, and I had to prepare and do some things, and I was busy. And I did everything that I was supposed to do in advance. And you know what? That feels really good. So I enjoyed being me. And I think that is the greatest gift. I think that is the greatest gift. I'm aware that most people aren't like that. When I people watch, most of them seem to be pretty tense and preoccupied. And this does seem to be the human condition. There was a survey they did a while back. If you could have the answer to any one question, what would you ask? And there were two questions. The first was, will there ever be world peace? And two, will I ever be happy? Those are the two questions that people wanted answers to. Now, the world peace one I get, but the one about will I ever be happy, that broke my heart. That broke my heart to hear that that was the question that people asked the most. Will I ever be happy? I understand that life is hard and it's full of challenges. There's pain, danger, uncertainty, disease, injustice, and then you die. I get it, which is why we need every bit of help to get through this earthly sojourn. Gratitude is one of the spiritual tools that helps. And so I have a tip for you. I always have a prayer partner. If you don't have a prayer partner, I urge you to get one. We will help you get a prayer partner. I always have a prayer partner. It enriches my life and enhances my life. It's another opportunity to be grateful. A prayer partnership is so powerful because this person knows you in a very deep and specific way, and you know the truth, the higher truth for each other. And sometimes we'll break it up and I'll say, let's play the gratitude game. And the gratitude game goes like, I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful for my garden. I'm grateful that I got invited to play in a tennis tournament. I'm quoting my prayer partner. This is my prayer partner, Jenna, over here. She's incredible. And we pass the gratitude back and forth, you know. So if you're not in the habit of being grateful, then how do you get better at being grateful?
Practice.
You practice. Amen. Thank you. Gold star. Ding, ding, ding. You practice. You practice. I understand that people are born with different temperaments, and not being grateful is a spiritual path, and that is great. And if you would like to explore being more grateful because you feel that you're not practicing gratitude as much as you could, then one way to practice it is to have somebody to practice it with, and to have a journal and to write the things in that you're grateful for. And next week, I'm going to talk about the practice of giving thanks in the disasters and in the tough stuff. And that's super advanced gratitude. When you give thanks in the middle of the flood and the hurricane and the car accident, then you are really at a high place. So, but for those of you who are not there, you start with give thanks for the things that are maybe easy to give thanks for. Ingratitude doesn't help. Gratitude helps, but ingratitude doesn't help. That absolutely does not enhance your life. Not noticing or appreciating the good doesn't help. And so we have to quote one of the greatest philosophers of the 20th and 21st centuries, Joni Mitchell. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone. Paved paradise, put up a parking lot. If you want to know the answer to anything, you go to Joni Mitchell lyrics, you're going to find something useful there. In Rick Hanson's book, Buddha's Brain, The Practical Neuroscience of Happiness, he writes, and I thought this was a very clever and effective image. He says, the human brain is like Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive ones. Think about that. It's like, right? My favorite example of how this works in my own life, I used to have a theater company, and we would produce a show, and we would produce a printed program for the show. And in the printed program, we would list the names of everybody who was involved, the crew, the cast, the writer, the director, all of that stuff. And we would put the program out, and I would not hear from anyone about the program except for the one person whose name got misspelled. Right? And I would hear very loudly from the person, the one person whose name was misspelled. Right? And then my experience of designing and doing the program would be all about, oh, you know, I got one person's name wrong. Do you know how, do you see how that plays out in your own life? There's another example of that. Let's say there's a work team, and the work team says we're going to sell 1,000 TV sets by January 1st. And they sell 950 TV sets, which was a 20% increase. But since they didn't sell 1,000, they feel that they failed. That's how that works. Instead of giving thanks for the 950 that was a 20% increase, they're all bummed why they couldn't sell those last 50 by January 1st, even though they sold another 100 by January 5th. You get it? That's what he's talking about here. This evolutionary bias toward retraining the negative helped our ancestors survive threats in the wild long enough to pass on their genes. But to compensate today, savoring the positive can be one of the healthiest practices we have. Savoring the positive is one of the healthiest practices. Now we have infotainment. We don't have news. Well, we have news, but we have infotainment. And we have a whole industry that is geared towards making you pissed off, afraid, paranoid, upset, and addicted to listening to people spew a negative view of things. And that is okay, because people can be different than me. And if you are doing that and noticing, oh, you know, I feel terrible. I feel terrible about this. I feel terrible about the state of the world. Then one thing that could help is to get a balanced view. Now, I have a particular political leaning, and I make sure that I expose myself to other points of view. So a balanced view. Like I experience myself as cheerful and positive and productive. And I also perceive myself to be a grounded realist. Right? I'm not I'm not floating out there, although people who float out there are great. And they're different than me, and that's great. But I'm a grounded optimist. I feel that I'm connected to reality. And that is an option for you. Something to think about. This focus on the negative is part of our evolutionary history, so it's very human and it's very understandable, it's very forgivable. It's really great to be able to ask yourself, is it working for me? I just want to remind you of something, and this is science, okay, because we're religious scientists. Yes, we are. We're religious scientists. The two wings in human consciousness that are not opposed to each other. Okay, remember, you need two eyes in order to have depth perception. You have to have two eyes. The eyes are in slightly different positions that allow you to see from two slightly different angles. That's science. Because you have two slightly different angles, that's why you have depth perception. People who lose one eye do not have depth perception. They cannot easily distinguish how close and far things are. And it's your brain that's getting two views simultaneously that integrates them to create 3D perception. So if focusing on the negative is a natural, even biological primary instinct, you also need to focus on the positive. That's the only way to perceive the world in 3 dimensions, because the real world contains pleasure and pain, dark and light, what you want and what you don't want, what you like and what you don't like. both in there. And gratitude is the quickest way to see the positive. It occurs to me now, I think another reason why I'm naturally cheerful is that for some reason I am aware of history. History is very present for me. We lived a long time in the state of Maryland. And Maryland is called a Mason, the Mason-Dixon line is where Maryland is, runs through Maryland. And we used to go in the countryside and we'd see these old barns. You know those old barns, those old beautiful kind of almost falling over old barns? And they would always give me the willies because I would think slaves worked there. This was a slave state. I'm always thinking, I'm always aware of the past. I'm always aware that they used to drown witches and they used to have public hangings as entertainment, and people had special songs that they sang as they ran to the middle of the town to watch a public hanging. Used to set cats on fire. I'm aware of the past. I'm aware of all the wars that have been fought and have gone into the dustbin of history. And all of that doesn't drag me down. It makes me go, I'm so glad I'm living in the 21st century. I'm so grateful that I can be an openly gay New Thought minister. It was a TV show that I just watched. When was it set? It was set in 1957. And there was a character who was gay in this TV series. And it was it was that wake-up call. There was no possibility of being openly expressed, of being accepted at that time. And it wasn't really a possibility for me as a teenager, so I can remember an America where this was not possible. I mean, my husband and I are dancing in the aisles in the grocery store, y'all. I do not take that for granted. And I do not take freedom of religion and sexual expression for granted. No matter what your circumstances, there is always a way to be grateful about them. The Japanese poet Mizuta Masahide wrote, "Barn burned down. Now I can see the moon." What are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? Who are you grateful for? Don't let others make you feel bad about the good that you enjoy. On the contrary, let your gratitudes increase your compassion for the suffering for others. Another thought that occurs to me, and I'm going to invite Sarah up to get ready to do her song after my talk, because I'm winding down. I'm going to do a little prayer so you can get yourself ready. I'm aware that right now on planet Earth, different people in different places on the planet are living in different time zones. And I don't mean time of day. By time zones, I mean eras. There is a tribe in the Amazon somewhere that is living like it's the Iron Age. And that there are people who are visionaries in the tech world that are living in the next century. And they are aware, and they are living with advanced technologies that we have not been exposed to yet. So there are human beings that are living as if it's 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 years ago, and people who are living in consciousness or in reality in the next century. And that helps me when I struggle to reconcile how much lavish, opulent abundance I enjoy as a first world person, as a middle class first world person. I have it so good, and I don't take it for granted. And that is what compels me to donate. You know, there's do you know that you can pay rent to the Duwamish tribe?
Yes.
You don't have to just do lip service and say, oh, you know, we're on the land that was held by Native Americans, and that's great. It's wonderful that you acknowledge that this was stolen from them. That's great. But how about paying rent? We pay rent every month to the Duwamish tribe, and that feels great. I can't correct Custer and all the massacres and all that stuff. Again, history. I'm very aware of history. But what I can do is, I can do what is mine to do to correct things, or to heal things, or to make a difference. That's my invitation to you. Be grateful. Be really grateful, and let that gratitude compel you to go forward and do great things and enjoy your life. Gratitude will help you enjoy being you. I mean, it's great to enjoy a movie, but you know what's really great is to enjoy being you. Because everywhere you go, there you are. So why not enjoy being you? All right, let's pray. So let's take a moment to give thanks. Give thanks for this breath. Give thanks for this moment. Like the song said, let us give thanks for our life. Let us give thanks for this gift of intelligence and consciousness. Let us give thanks for our fellows. Let us give thanks, above all, for our Thanksgiving. Let us give thanks for our ability to be grateful, to notice. Let us give thanks for depth perception, for the ability to perceive things as they are, to embrace and recognize the challenges and the things that are difficult and the things that are painful, but to also be grateful for the amazing life of miracles that we live. For our life, our existence is miraculous. We are miracles. We are miraculous expressions of a loving and benevolent presence that is with us always, and we say thanks. Thanks be to God. Thank you, Mother, Father, God. Thank you, divine consciousness. Thank you, the thing itself. Thank you to the Mother, Father, God of all creation. Thank you to the isness. Thank you to the Tao. Thank you to Allah. Thank you to the Buddha nature. Thank you for the Christ mind, by whatever name. Thank you, Shekinah. Thank you, Elohim. Thank you, Great Spirit. All is well. All is well. All is well.
You're gonna
Oh, that was wonderful. Well, we're going to get to our prayer cards here shortly. So if anyone does need a prayer card, please raise your hand and Andrew can come around and give you one of those in advance. Does everybody have everything they need? Perfect. Well, to continue along the lines of gratitude, I'd like to start by thanking our volunteers. Thank everyone who is in service today, who's made this Sunday so special as we focus on our gratitudes. Let us start by thanking practitioner Cynthia Zink. She is our volunteer coordinator and greeter before service. And this morning we have Preston Lydian, did I say that correctly? Running sound from Carco Theatre. Thank you so much, Preston. And we have Michael Johns running our camera. And for those of you watching at home, and our screen behind our projector. And then, of course, Andrew Young is our usher and will be collecting our offerings. And as I mentioned before, Cal is your communication link if you're watching at home. And then another shout out to Karen, who will be available after service for prayer. So let us move into filling out our prayer requests. Is there something that is on your heart today? Something that you would like a little more of in your life? Something that you would like to express in a form of gratitude? Please take a moment to fill those out, and remember that the practitioners here at Genesis Center for Spiritual Living will be praying on those for you all week long. Our giving portion. If you haven't done so yet and feel called, please take a moment to give a gift to Genesis. Remember, Genesis is supported by God, but we appreciate and are honored by any support that you also shall give. Remember that there is a Facebook place where you can donate. Actually, I think we're having some difficulties with that still. So please go to our website at genesiscsl.org. But let us take this time now to take our prayer cards and our offerings, and let us say our blessing together. Divine love through me blesses all and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am thankful. We'll go ahead and sing our God is My Source song as Andrew comes around and collects our
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything.
so thankful for this abundance, these blessings that are overflowing from the universe. And I am just grateful, grateful, grateful. And so it is. Thank you, Ina. All right. Let us all go ahead and stand up, and we'll sing our closing song. Great week.